Hey guys, I'm Nishant and I welcome you to VegStroller. We are covering our Europe planning series and so far we have published two videos. In episode 1, we discussed about whether you should go for a tour package or plan your own Europe trip. In episode 2, we discussed how can you get started on planning your Europe trip. This is episode 3 where we'll be focusing on how should you go about booking your flight tickets. I'll discuss few very important tips and tricks which I am using for my flight booking and I'm sure you will find it useful as well. For your convenience, I have divided this entire video into 3 sections. Section 1 where we'll be discussing about the tips and tricks related to credit cards and offers. Section 2 where we'll be discussing flight booking, and section 3 where we'll be discussing choosing the right flight. So do ensure that you watch the entire video, and if you find it useful, please remember to like, subscribe and share. Let's get started. So guys, when you're planning your Europe trip, it's important that you use a good credit card for all the books. That is because you will not only get good reward points, but you will also get, most importantly, some grace period to be able to make your bill payment. Try to first of all identify the best credit card which you have, which you can use. How do you identify that? There are two things which you can do. First of all, you can try to find out which credit card gives you the best reward return ratio. The second option is to try and browse few important travel websites and see what offers are running on the credit cards. There are 2-3 things which you'll have to keep in mind when you're searching for these offers. First is find out whether it's a flat offer or up to discount. So in my case, when I was searching, I found that Make My Trip was giving flat 10,000 rupees discount on any transaction value of international flights above 1 lakh. Similarly, Yatra was giving about 15% discount if my transaction value is above 75,000. The next important thing which you have to do on credit card section is log in into your credit card website. There you first of all enable your international transactions, enable your online transactions, and then increase the online spend limit. So for example, if you have two people traveling wherein you think that the flight cost will be about 1.2 lakhs, try to ensure that you increase your online spend limit to maybe 1.3 or 1.4 lakhs. This will help in ensuring that when you're doing the actual payment for your flights, your credit card transaction is not declined because of low spend limits. I've seen this happen with my friend, and as a result, he had to redo the entire process, and when he went to the payment page, the flight tickets had increased by then, so it was a loss for him. One more thing, when you are using your credit cards on a regular basis, you will also get regular reward points. So before booking your flight tickets, try to find out what are the reward points which you are having across various credit cards. See if you can redeem them to book the flight tickets, or if you can convert them into air miles for a particular flight tickets. So this ways you can reduce your cost on the flight bookings using your credit card. So on booking, the first point which I like to mention is that always try to book flight tickets using the trustworthy website. On Skyscanner, if you go and try to search for flights, it will give you 10, 15, 20 search results and 20 websites showing different prices. Do not blindly go for the first website which is offering you the cheapest flight rate. It can be a spam, it can be a hoax, it can lead to your money getting stuck because it's not a valid website. Instead, try to find out which is a reliable website which you have heard of and do the booking through that, even if you have to pay some extra amount. That's one. Secondly, try to find a website which is of your own country and which makes payments in your own country denomination. So for example, I am staying in India, and when I was searching on Skyscanner, I gave preference to websites like Cleartrip, Make My Trip, Yatra, because I know these are trustworthy. I have used them a lot in India, and secondly, I know that I'll have to make the payments in INR. On the other hand, if I try to go with some website which is of Australia or US or New Zealand or some other country based, I might not know how much of trustworthy that website is. That's one. Secondly, they might give me the pricing in dollars or their local currency. When I'm doing the credit card payment, it will become a problem because I will have to give the conversion charges, the forex markup charges, and some multiple other charges. Let's avoid all those. The third point is related to ensuring that you have all the travelers' passport, date of birth, city of birth, address, phone number, email ID, frequent flyer number, meal preference, all those handy before you sit to book the flight tickets. And if possible, you should try to add all those things in the travel website's passenger details before you sit. The benefit of this is that it will not only reduce your time in booking the ticket, but it will also reduce the chances of making errors. And then when you're doing the actual travel booking, you can just import those travel details and just move ahead. That's the next thing. And the last and most important thing, try to book your flight tickets as early as possible. As I said earlier in episode 2, have maximum of 2 or 3 countries which you want to travel as a beginning point, and using those, book your flight tickets for departure as well as arrival, because the longer you wait in booking your flight tickets, the costlier it will become for you. There are few things which you have to keep in mind when you're booking your flight. The first thing is that you should always try to pick a flight which is of the same airline for your entire journey. So if your trip is having a connecting flight, try to ensure that the flight is of the same airline. The advantage on this is that in case your original flight gets delayed, airline will be responsible for giving you accommodation or booking you on some other flight. Ensure that you have long layover if your connecting flight is of different airline, and you have short layover if your connecting flight is of same airline. The next point which you should keep in mind is that try to choose a flight which reaches Europe towards afternoon or evening. This ways, by the time you come out of the airport after clearing your security, immigration, and collecting your bag, and by the time you reach your hotel, it will already be late evening or night. You can just have your dinner and go to bed. One more thing which you have to keep in mind is that hotels in Europe normally give you a check-in after 2 p.m. So if you are reaching early, then it might cause a problem because you will not even have a hotel to go to. You'll just have to wait in the lobby. And yes, always try to check the price of airline from the same city arrival and departure, and different city arrival and different city departure. Try to find out how much is the price difference. And in my earlier episode 2, I had told you that you should have maximum of 3 destinations. So this is the place where this particular 3 destination trick comes into picture. Find out which destinations have the best price combination, and using that you can try to come up with your travel itinerary, or you can try to book the cheapest flights available. And one more suggestion which I like to give you on the flight booking is that try to book a flight which is cancelable or which is refundable. This is because you do not want to get stuck on a flight where you cannot cancel, and then unfortunately your visa is not approved or you have to cancel your entire trip. In that case, your money will be lost. Instead of that, it's always better to have a flight ticket which is cancelable, so that you might lose only some amount and at least are able to get back the remaining money. And now, with all the theory behind us, let me show you how I have gone through the process of booking my flight tickets. So let's assume you have shortlisted 3 cities, Paris, Zurich, and Barcelona, for your must go options. You go to private browser and open skyscanner.co.in. Mumbai to can't decide where, leave it for now. Put approximate dates in the month you want to travel. So for example, I'm planning to travel in May, return in May, and put the exact number of people who will be traveling. So 2 adults. Barcelona is in Spain, Paris is in France, and Zurich is in Switzerland. Okay, Spain. So if I go to Barcelona, the return flight is costing me 33,181. Switzerland,
Zurich is 47, Geneva is 36. So Paris return is 40. Now let's see the dates on which we are getting. Mumbai to Barcelona, so Barcelona 16,000. So guys, one tip, always try to prefer a midweek flight because those are really cheap. You'll get some good discounts on them. And I'm getting at 66,000 Barcelona, and this 66,000 is for two people, which is 33,000 per head. And if we take individual one-way tickets, then it is costing us very costly. Barcelona one-way ticket itself is costing us 46,000 for two people, and then return from Geneva is costing us another 71, which is coming very costly. So no point taking that. Better take a return journey ticket and use Clear Trip or Make My Trip to go ahead and do the booking.
So that's it, guys. I hope you learned something new. If yes, please mention in the comment section, and remember to like, subscribe and share. In our next video, we'll focus on how you can finalize your accommodation and your travel itinerary. Until next time, this is Nishant signing off. Bye, take care, tada.